Welcome to Breaking the Cycle to Poverty, featuring Jay Height, Executive Director of Shepherd Community Center in Indianapolis. For the past 36 years, Shepherd has served its neighbors on the Near East Side of Indianapolis by providing a range of services and support designed to end generational poverty. My name is Tim Swearens, and I'm your host for these conversations that explore why poverty remains such a persistent problem in the United States and how each of us can help our neighbors break the cycle of poverty. Today's episode focuses on education, job training, and career development. And specifically, we'll look at a new Shepherd initiative called the Education to Employment Program. Jay, what is the Education to Employment Program, and why is Shepherd involved in this effort?
Well, I think it's for us as we are constantly trying to learn, and we're trying to talk to others. And we're so blessed in our state and in our city to have brilliant folks who are here that have expertise that we're able to pick their brain. And so what we realized is that our workforce development was too late when we put the emphasis on adults. And so what we have done is E2E starts in middle school, and we want to help our middle school students explore all of the opportunities of potential careers. Poverty has taken away your ability to see the world and only see this small and many times unfortunately narrow view of what possibly they could do. We have the old phrase, college or career, but that somehow says, well, college is better than career. And what we want to do is help them figure out. Tim, when you and I were in school, they taught to the middle. It was to the median. We took Iowa basic skills and all those fun things.
Right.
But today, through AI, we have the ability to develop an individual plan for each and every one of our students to help them know what direction they want to take. So we can, in middle school, we want them to do field trips. We want them to see some of the great opportunities that they could have. We want them to know that they fit in the seat of a college, but they also fit in the seat of a forklift. And so what is it that they feel gifted and interested in? There's some assessments that the state provides that we'll be using. And then as they get into high school, we want them to do one of three things: start their own business. Entrepreneurialism is a desire for many, and we want to help do that. And we actually have a group of business leaders who are putting money together to help us help students start businesses. Yeah. Second, we want to help them if they want to get a job, part-time job, or do internships. These are the ways that for many of us who have had a different childhood and a different period of time of being raised, where we made connections, where we were able to learn things about being on time, and that I still need to show up even if I have a headache, and those types of things. And it's all part of growing up. It's a challenge I think we've had, and there's a lot of articles written about delayed adolescence. And so we want to go back to, I don't know, Tim, for you, but in me, my first job, real job, was started in seventh grade. So back when dinosaurs walked the earth, and I had to avoid them while delivering the morning newspaper in Dayton, Ohio, the Dayton Journal-Herald. And I had to get up at 4:30. I learned something, because if I waited till my dad woke me up at 5:15, I had to run the route. And I had about 100 homes. And I played baseball, so I didn't have to run very far. 90 feet, I could stop and catch my breath. I'm not a runner, and I sure didn't want to have to run my route. So I learned a discipline to get up at 4:30.
Yes.
And then go do my route. And I did that until I was a junior in high school. But in the summer, I was also mowing grass. I was painting. You know, it's interesting. OSHA says that kids under 18 cannot use any kind of machinery, so lawnmowers are out.
Yes.
They say that you can't use hazardous materials, so painting's out, and that if you're under 18, you shouldn't be on a ladder. And my dad had me doing all three. I think my dad was trying to kill me. I told him before he passed away, I said, Dad, OSHA would have banned you. And he said, OSHA didn't live in our house, and it didn't. But I learned a lot of valuable lessons.
Yes.
And that's many people's story. We want to give those same opportunities for kids to learn and explore, to broaden their world and to see that, and then work with our partners in IPS, and to work with Purdue Polytech, and to work with these students in our neighborhood, but also then to bring that together with employers who want to employ our neighbors. and be able to say, okay, so if I help you get employed at XYZ, if you begin to have problems, employer, let us know and let us help. We want to help them keep their jobs, but we want them to learn their skills much earlier. And if it's starting a business, we want to get these business mentors who work with them and engage with them and help them process. Because our kids have all the same ability. They just don't always have the same opportunity. And that's what we want to create.
I think my first job was mowing lawns when I was in 7th or 8th grade. Somehow we survived. I don't know, but we did. Jay, so it's interesting that this program starts with kids in middle school. Why start at such a young age?
Because they're making life decisions earlier and earlier. And we don't want them to buy the lies of those who would want to destroy them, that says you can never do anything and that your only path out is through crime or through gang work. We want them to know that there's something better for them. And we also want them to know they are beautifully and wonderfully made. We believe God breathed life into them and created them, and so we want them to recognize that. Now, we're also still working with adults, and we're working with the city on a program where we could help some of our individuals get hired by the city. There's plenty of employers who need our neighbors to come work for them. We need to prepare our neighbors for success and not just go through the process and keep burning and churning through jobs. And so we want to help give them new skills.
So help our listeners understand some of the common obstacles that kids on the Near East Side face to education and career.
Well, I think part of it is that they feel like they've bought into the lie that they don't deserve better. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that they have gotten behind and they don't have the possibilities of catching up. Just this week I read several articles that came out talking about third graders are so far behind because of the last few years. Yeah. And they said we're going to see this for decades. Well, we don't want to accept that because those statistics have names and faces and we know them, and so we want to change that. And so then you have everything from transportation issues. When I was 15 and 364 years old, or 64 months, days old, sorry, I was 15 years and 364 days. I was standing at the driver's license bureau to be ready to take my test as soon as I can so I can get my license.
Right.
That doesn't happen, and we have kids who are in their 20s now that have never taken their driver's license. And so we said, okay, we're going to start helping you get your driver's license and then help you get a vehicle and help you get your insurance and make sure you're doing things right so you don't make bad decisions even there. And sometimes it's trying to help the parents along as well and encourage them that this is a good plan. Our biggest challenge in all of this really comes back to the welfare cliff, that if folks make so much money, they lose all their benefits, but the amount they're making doesn't make up for that. And so we don't have all the answers to that, but we want to help keep our neighbors and our students moving forward. You know, there's this idea that you and I have gone through, and I'm sure many of the listeners, it's called ABC. A is a job, B is a better job, C is a career. Mm-hmm. We've been through all of those, right? And so you don't necessarily always start out in the career. So let's help you do well here and keep that transition and that trajectory going forward.
Another one of the interesting aspects of this program is the assignment of youth coaches to our students. Why are the coaches, mentors, such an important part of this program?
It's really about investing in that student and being an encourager, because there are so many whispering lies into their ears that they don't deserve it, that they're not capable. Once they have the first problem and they make a mistake, well, you might as well give up. See, I told you. And the Bible's very clear. God loves each and every one of us. He created us with a plan and a purpose. And so we have to continue to counter that. So that coach is really there to be an encourager and then not do it for them, but help them figure out how to navigate through the challenges and roadblocks.
Yeah. And we've talked about kids starting in middle school, but the need for education and career development doesn't stop once we're older. How can this program help adults?
Well, we want to partner with some of our great institutions like Ivy Tech and helping our families figure out how to get certificates. I'm 57, but I have to be a lifelong learner, and we have to model that and then encourage our families and neighbors to do that and then figure out how to access that training.
Yeah. Partnerships are an important part of this initiative. How can how can businesses and directors of other organizations get involved?
Well, we would encourage you to reach out, and if you're an employer that would want to partner with us, and it's really a partnership, it's not just us shooting people to you, but it's how do we stay engaged with that, and how do we use those employers to engage with our younger students so that they can begin to explore. And we were talking to a company today, and so they want to bring our young kids up to their shops to see around and see what all they do. And it's fun stuff they got. It's an electrical company, and we've tried to determine if we could shock a few, but they said no. But these kids, they don't know that this career exists. Yes. So let's help them do that. And great companies like One America doing amazing stuff where they're helping students, and it's run by a student who came from our neighborhood, who came through our programs, yes, and helps in the leadership of Shepherd now as a board member, helping kids like her from our neighborhood figure out, maybe I want to go to One America. Maybe I want to just go right into an employment, or maybe I want to do some kind of certificate, or I want to go to college and come. And they have a summer internship program where our kids are able to explore all of those opportunities. We need more companies like that, and we want and really desire that partnership. So they could reach out and let us know, and we think that this is a win-win. We'll help them have good employees, and they can help our neighbors and our families have a positive situation at a time when things are very challenging.
Yeah. And how can other listeners, maybe not involved in the business, how can they help?
Well, we're going to need, for those youth, we're going to need also youth mentors.
Yes.
And we're getting ready to create a training program. In November, we'll be having some training to say, maybe it's a retiree who would say, I'll walk alongside a student who wants to start their own business. Or I want to walk along this student who wants to explore these careers and invest in them. Every one of our children, every one of our teenagers are going to be mentored. The question's by who. And we want to make that a positive investment in their life.
Thank you, Jay. The Education and Employment Program is just one of many initiatives that Shepherd operates to meet our neighbors' physical, financial, educational, emotional, and spiritual needs. The team couldn't do that work without your support. To learn how you can help, please visit shepherdcommunity.org. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.